afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. It is Thursday, June 22nd. Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman in studio this afternoon as it is our 2016-2017 year in review show. And Kev, we finally get to put all three seasons on display now and recognize the great work done by all the FCX athletes this year.
Well, not only the great work, but the great work done by everyone here at the HA Network. We got our display out here. I know it's a little hard to see with this camera view. We got some of the swag we got from all the ADs. So thank you to all the athletic directors and athletes for giving us some great gear here. We got some jerseys, some towels, some we got a Trinity Catholic knit hat. So we got some cool stuff here. We got a Darien helmet as well. So we got some great stuff that we're going to display here for you guys. Of course, some Greenwich hockey. So again, a great show today. We're going to really reflect on what a year it was in FCX sports.
Do want to take a moment, Kevin. It is Thursday, and the Travelers Championships are taking place at the TPC River Highlands course up in Cromwell. About the afternoon sessions have just gone off. They're around holes 3 and 4 now. We want to say that Johnson Wagner is tied with Brent Stagmeyer for the first round lead. They both shot an opening 64 here. Graham DeLate of Canada is sitting at -5. You have got Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth at -3 and -2 right now. Spieth is just 5 holes into his round. So a very full field. The new PGA rule in effect that players competing in under 25 tournaments have got to go to a venue at least once every 4 years. So you've got a revamped and reloaded field for the Travelers this year. It is very cool. I'm hoping to make my way up there at some point this weekend and get a look at these guys in action.
I'm actually really surprised you haven't gone there yet, Frank. I feel like that's a good spot for you, and gorgeous course as well. So and they've got some great weather too as well. So they really lucked out this week.
Yeah, the weather is looking very good. A little spotty tomorrow afternoon, but they should be able to get all the play in. And I know I'm not here tomorrow. I might be playing hooky up in Cromwell, not telling anybody. But so that's really cool, and we'll keep an eye on that as the weekend goes on. We do want to offer congratulations as well to Max Theodorakis and to Justin Clark, both putting on good showings in the 115 Connecticut Amateur Golf Championships, both coming up short. Theodorakis losing 3 and 2 in the round of 16, and Justin Clark losing 5 and 3 in this morning's quarterfinals. But great job by the two freshmen after finishing their first years playing for universities. Theodorakis at Campbell and Justin at TCU. So good work from them. We expect to see their names in tournaments the rest of the summer and moving forward as well.
Yeah, the Fighting Camels live on.
There you go.
It is cool to see that you have some representation here, up at the amateur tournament here from Fairfield County. So it is nice to see. Unfortunate that you couldn't advance on both of them, but again, like you just said, Frank, it is great to see that there's still some great amateur golf here around Fairfield County, and they're representing the county very well.
But let's get right into it now with the FCX, and we'll look at our year in review. Let's start with the fall season, Kevin. And from the first broadcast we had in the fall, right out of the gate, we were at Tiger Hollow. It was Ridgefield and Trumbull, and I mean that right there, one of the best games we saw all year. It really set the stage for what was an incredible 2016-2017 season.
It was, and I think that really jump-started the Tigers season. You call them the Cardiac Cats, as we nicknamed them throughout the season. And again, the first game of the year, they started off really slow, and Trumbull got out to that nice lead. And what happened in that second half? The Tigers climbed all the way back and ended up winning that game at home. And you could tell throughout that first half, we were up in the press box, and you could tell the fans were getting a little antsy there. It was getting quiet, and then Drew Fowler really found his stride in that second half, and you saw that offense ignite. So a big win for the Tigers on opening night for them.
And you're right, it was such a battle between two teams we expected to be in the mix for the FCX championship. Ridgefield and Trumbull, a lot of hype surrounding two very good senior classes, and Trumbull's Johnny McElroy and the Eagles just came out of the gate storming. He could do no wrong. The offense so high-powered. It was really the Marquise Woods' big touchdown run that sprung to what you thought would be okay. It's an insurmountable lead now, up by 17 in the second half and everything clicking. And all of a sudden, here come those Tigers. And for me, this set the stage for the year of the Tiger in the FCX. This was what really got it going for Ridgefield High this season. It started on night number 1. We go back all the way to September 10th to see Ridgefield and Trumbull in our opening fall broadcast. Standing almost 6'3" as the give is inside to Woods. Hits a seam, and now he's off to the races. Nobody's going to catch him. Marquise Woods, one play to the house.
Marquise Wow.
We'll expect to see 2 plays. Fowler, design run play off the fake pass, heading for the goal line. Touchdown, Tigers. And there is life yet again here in Ridgefield. They will have to go for 2, though. Looks left, pumps the bubble. Now he wants to go up top. He's looking for Lowe, going up for it. Makes the catch. Makes a man miss. Touchdown, Tigers. And we are a 2-point conversion away from a tie football game, Kevin Coleman. Fowler dropping back, looking over the middle, tries to float one. He's got Palmer in space, heading towards the sideline. Jumps over one man. Touchdown, Tigers.
That's just one of the many great footballs we saw that fall. I mean, that same weekend, Kevin, we had Danbury and Stanford the next day that came down to a game that was won on the final drive. So football obviously was our big one in the fall, and it all came down to the Turkey Bowl, which we're going to get to in a little bit, but it was not one of the more balanced conferences. Football played out. There were 2 teams and everybody else. Soccer, on the other hand, and I can't believe I am teeing you up for this, was a very wide open field this year, and we saw a lot of great football with a U.
Thank you for that. It was wide open to a degree, but I thought Trumbull was the best team by far. Yes, Greenwich had a great season overall, and I think they really got going towards the end of the season. Of course, those 2 ended up tying, being co-champions in the FCIAC, but I really thought Trumbull was the more balanced team. They had the depth. I mean, that was a loaded senior lineup, and one of my favorite players of all this entire season, you talk about fall, winter, spring, was Chris Lancia of the Trumbull Eagles in boys soccer. Boy, was he fun to watch. Very gifted player. He's got the speed. He's got everything you can think of. Plays on that right side, but he's got that great left foot that he can pull back in, and he beats defenders. And this kid is going to St. John's next year to play soccer. He's only getting better, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays in his next 4 years with the Big Red Storm.
We've got some highlights of the Trumbull soccer team. Let's take a look at those now.
A few, surrendering 36 goals, which is good enough for 2.11 goals against. They are the only team as this one fired towards the net. It's in. Number 22, Matthew Restrepo. This one played into the box. Nascimento coming up and he responds. 2 minutes later, it's Nascimento. This year when you won 4-1, as they've got an opportunity here coming up on the through ball. Shot towards the net, and it's in again. Loose ball in front, fired on goal, and it's in. Tang Dao comes over, and the senior captain buries number 3. Throw-in coming. Cleared to the side for a moment. Now towards the box. On cage, it was fought off.
Wow. That's going to do it. What a finish, Frank.
Of course, that was the semifinal game in the FCI tournament between Trumbull and Danbury. This was a Danbury team we caught a lot of towards the end of the year, Kev. We had their quarterfinal matchup. We saw them again in the state tournament one time, and one of the more bizarre stories out of the entire year when you think about their run to the state championship, only to have it cut short due to some off-the-field issues.
You hate to see it, and you really feel for Coach Anthony Howard because he's a wonderful coach. He's new to the program too. He's really brought up this Danbury Hatters boys soccer program, and considering the great year they had, and unfortunately they fell short that game to Trumbull, who again, a great season that the Eagles had. What a great game that was. And you just saw a great shot at the end for Kaiki Nascimento that almost went in, but a great save from the Trumbull keeper. But again, disappointing. You have a player that goes out and goes to a college showcase during the season. It's frustrating. You kind of wish that never happened, but again, it happened. So they have to move forward and look on to a new season. I think Danbury, again, you look towards the fall now in 2017. This is a Danbury team that's going to be very strong again.
And before we get to the Turkey Bowl highlights, which I do want to spend a couple of minutes on, I want to take a second and say, that my favorite sport out of that fall season was girls volleyball. We struggled. We couldn't find the highlights from that championship game between Stanford and McMahon, but how much fun was it seeing Brian McMahon put together the best season in program history, led by Meredith Pellegrino, and Testa Jaeger and Taylor Morton, and then you've got Andrea O'Connor, Lisa Ballas, and the Stanford Knights winning their first FCIAC championship. It was such a highly competitive season all year long for girls volleyball. Darien was down, and so now you had this wide open conference, and what a blast it was getting to be there from start to finish. I can't wait to see what we've got in store for the 2017 season.
Well, you're absolutely right. That championship game was so much fun over at Ludlow. That was a great afternoon there at Ludlow between Stanford and Brian McMahon. You talk about two teams with loaded lineups. It was only fitting that it came down to the wire, that fifth final set. And congratulations again to Stanford, because Frank, that was an excellent game. I mean, you had everyone on their toes there at Ludlow High School. And again, I think going into that game, I think a lot of people expected McMahon to win that game, but Stanford played a perfect game that night. Andrea O'Connor was lights out. And
that was really the start of what sort of developed, at least in the girls' sports, a little bit of a rivalry between Stanford and Ridgefield, because they just continued to meet in the semifinals for tournaments in the FCIAC. That Ridgefield volleyball team, I think, was as talented as any other in the state. The FCIAC was truly a gauntlet this year that you had to run through, so it was a lot of fun there. But let's switch over to football now. It all came down to Thanksgiving. New Canaan and Darien, 1-2 in the state, both undefeated again. Kev, this was your first exposure to the New Canaan-Darien rivalry. And I know you come from Wilton Ridgefield, which we're going to get to later on, but what were your initial thoughts on being there for that Thanksgiving football game?
It was amazing. I had a great time, getting my first taste of Darien, New Canaan. I've only heard about it, growing up here, and never really got a taste of it, especially that Turkey Bowl. First Turkey Bowl, and I kind of went into it with an open mind, and I was blown away. Awesome. Just, I couldn't believe the crowd, and, considering, we got there at, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to set up. People were already there tailgating. That's when I knew. I was like, all right, we're in for it. This is going to be a fun day. And both sides. I thought Darien, New Canaan, both student sections lived up to it, and the fans as well lived up to it. And again, what a fantastic game. You got to credit the Rams for being down as much as they were, for climbing all the way back. It was a blast being on the sideline there, really seeing that sideline come together once they started making that comeback.
It was a 24-point difference in the third quarter. It seemed all but inevitable that Darien would be rolling on. Somehow we found our way into overtime. Here's what it looked like on Thanksgiving morning.
This HAN Network video is brought to you by the Hospital for Special Surgery.
Ball at midfield. Trips at the top of the screen. It's a draw play for Collins with a big hole and plenty of room to run. Collins off to the races to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Darien. The Waves strike first.
First touch for Collins in the game. We thought he would be an X factor coming in.
Wildcat formation. They've got two tight ends into the game. Grant in motion. Green fakes to Collins, keeps it himself, heading for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Darien. It is 13-0 with 5:30 remaining in the first.
Very emotional after that. You saw a little scrum between Darien and New Canaan players. We got cleared up there.
And Braden's racing down the sideline now. Braden being chased by Herget, diving for his ankles, staying on his feet to the 5. Touchdown, New Canaan.
That was just what the doctor ordered from New Canaan. Great job staying in bounds there by Braden. Hit the hole hard.
They're going to throw with Peters here. They wanted Collins over the middle. Now going to take a shot. Apelt was stumbling, and all alone is Grant. Shoves a man to the ground. Grant off to the races. 10-5, touchdown, Darien.
Or they can come back with a 65-yard touchdown of their own and get right back in the lead by double digits if they can knock down this extra point. Great throw by Peters there. Apelt unfortunately slipped and was unable to make the tackle for the New Canaan Rams.
Collins in the shotgun position, running behind his blockers, heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Darien. He's in, and it's a 16-point Wave lead.
It's his 8th rushing touchdown of the year.
3rd and 6 from their own 22. Pine looking to the left side. Wants a man on the wheel. He is hit. Lost the football. It's loose. Scooped up into the end zone. Touchdown, Darien. Horde Fox with the fumble recovery for a score. And the only thing that couldn't go wrong for the Rams just did. Looking to his left, tries to fling one outside. He's got O'Connell. O'Connell makes a man miss to the end zone. Touchdown, Rams.
And there's Quentin O'Connell. We talked about him. His 7th receiving touchdown of the season. He finally gets on the board today. It's probably the longest we've been in a game where the O'Connells are playing with neither of them in the end zone.
Spencer Williams takes the snap. He's heading for the end zone. Is he in? Touchdown, New Canaan. And we're an extra point away from this being a 7-point game. Mike, what a drive.
Absolutely great drive, great play calling.
They're quick to line up. Williams in the gun. They give inside to O'Connell. He got it. Is he going to get in? Is he short? Touchdown, New Canaan.
Wow. He just got in on that second effort. Looked like a little trouble handing the ball off, but the Rams get in the end zone. We're an extra point away from overtime, Frank. We knew New Canaan Darien couldn't end up being a blowout. These games are always a classic.
Minikis to hold. The snap, the kick is up. And it is good. So Darien able to convert. They take a 3-point lead. It's not what you want, but no matter what, Mike, you have to get on the board in that first possession. Pines got O'Connell and Braden in the backfield. They trail by 3, 1st and goal. O'Connell motions to the left. They fake the screen. They're coming back for Braden. It's intercepted. Finley Collins has got it, and the Darien Blue Wave have won the Turkey Bowl.
They set up the screen, and Finley Collins read it well. We've seen him come close to picking off a few balls today. Got to be devastating for the Rams players. They thought they had a great chance there. Great play by Finley Collins, and he's shown all day why he's one of the best players in the FCIAC.
The fans storm the field. The Wave, for a 5th consecutive season, have won on Thanksgiving.
A lot of fun on that Thanksgiving morning, Kevin, and Finley Collins is a name we are going to hear later on in the show again, but he was very earning of that MVP honors, and the Wave extends it to 5 straight on Thanksgiving now against their arch rival, the Rams.
Oh, it was a fantastic game again. You know, you kind of thought in that first half things were getting a little out of hand once we got close to halftime. Again, that remarkable comeback for New Canaan. You just saw from the highlights, you saw that big push that Ryan O'Connell got to get that football over that goal line to force overtime, and you saw Drew Pine just unfortunate there that he headed through that interception. Who but else? Finley Collins there up to grab that interception again, and it's only fitting that we got this bad boy right here in the studio. Not to make you too mad there, Frank, but again, awesome game, and that we can only hope that next Thanksgiving we have that same type of feel, same type of game as well.
I'm sure that we will have the same type of feel, and we expect the environment to be the same. Both teams will go on and win state championships. They finished 1 and 2 in the state. Kev, let's step aside. When we get back, we're going to flip it over to the winter season, embrace the cold, check out some of the highlights from that year.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network. Give your day a jumpstart with the latest news, sports, weather, and more on Coffee Break, live on the HAN Network, weekdays at 11 a.m. Connecticut news doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break.
We are back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, our year in review show, and we go now to the winter season. Kev, I want to start with one of the more interesting events we covered, and I know that's just because we'd never been exposed to it before, and while I do want to go with the cheerleading, we can't use it for copyright issues because of the music, but let's talk about the wrestling tournament we saw, because you're talking about one of the best teams in the history of Connecticut with this year's Danbury Hatter team, and getting to see them firsthand. Wow.
There's nothing else you can say. Wow is, I think there's more words you can say than wow, but again, you're just so impressive how dominant they are. I mean, we got to see a couple meets with them, and especially against Fairfield Ward, who I thought was going to be one of those schools that could really keep up with Danbury. Not even close. And Danbury is just so dominant. You know, they've been that big powerhouse for so many years, and they have that great tradition. It's a program that, you know, always lives up to the hype. There's, you know, there's always expectancy there that they always want to be in that championship part of the wrestling season. Again, just so dominant, a lot of fun to watch. Again, Danbury is a team that, you know, again, year in and year out, I think if they continue with that coaching staff, they're going to be, again, just so dominant.
And you mentioned Fairfield Ward, of course. Timmy Kane was as good as anyone in the region, completing his career now with the most wins, most pins, every record you could think of, he's got it. Let's look at the highlights from the wrestling championships back in late January that was seen here on the HAN Network.
Wrestling in what will be his final FCAC match. Fairfield Ward's all-time win leader.
Alex gets off his back, 9-0. 20 seconds left in this first period.
Kane just relentless here.
Yeah, Jamadi, you know, you try to stay, you almost just want to stay still because anything you do is going to come back to haunt you. And he does not get out of the first period. Tim Kane does not allow the match to get out of the first period. 5 seconds left.
What a way to end your FCAC career. Well done by Tim Kane. Let's step.
And once again, and I was saying at this level, the wrestlers know this, but they're going to call these things. You get to the finals, you got to wrestle.
Yeah.
Great job.
Great takedown.
Great job.
Being aggressive, picking his spot. He knows Murata's got to come to him.
Yep.
And he knows once he takes that big, heavy step, he's putting him down. He's getting that win. Good for you, Mike CC.
He'll sacrifice that last star point. Travis, thanks a lot for taking time with us. Really appreciate it. Good luck at States. We're going to step aside.
140 left. That's not good.
And the FCAC championships will end on back-to-back Danbury pins.
There's just a couple of matches from the wrestling championships. I thought we saw potentially one of the biggest upsets of the entire calendar year, Kevin, in the winter when the Greenwich Cardinals took down Darien in girls hockey to win the FCAC championship. Darien had won 5 straight FCAC championships, had been so dominant all year long, but here come those young Cardinals, and now they are primed to start a little bit of their own dynasty here.
Coach Lurshin did an amazing job with that Greenwich girls hockey team, and you talk about Jessica Ware, the freshman goalie, really having a standout freshman season. So that helps her confidence going into her sophomore year, and they can only hope that she can continue to only get better. And that's if you're the rest of the FCAC looking forward, that's got to be a little scary there, Frank, that Jessica is only a freshman and is only getting better.
Only a freshman, and it's a team that only loses one senior as well. We obviously want to offer congratulations to the Ridgefield hockey team and Coach Gallagher as they won on the boys' side of the tournament. In girls basketball, it was that epic tournament that finished up with Trumbull as the champions. But let's just get right to it, because I got a feeling this is your game of the year, game of the decade, game of the millennium with where we stand right now. How much fun was boys basketball this year?
I can't even put it into words. It was beyond amazing, and I have to give so much credit to not only the two teams, the two coaching staffs. You know, again, it was phenomenal what these two teams did on the floor and what they did as a performance. But how about the fans? I don't think personally, I haven't experienced anything like that at the high school level. That really felt like being at a Duke basketball game in college, any college hoop game, That's what it felt like, and you could feel the vibrations on the floor from both student sessions. It was an experience that I won't forget, and it was a game that I think a lot of people, including the people in town of Ridgefield, are still, to this day, and in mid-June, they're still talking about that game.
Well, it was a championship featuring two programs for the first time in both their histories. The Route 7 rivalry, Wilton and Ridgefield. They took it to Alumni Hall at Fairfield U. Here's what it looked and sounded like.
It should be a lot of fun as the opening tip won by Ladowdy, and the Tigers will start. First possession of the night here. Cronenberg tried to poke one away as Longo steps into a three. Good.
What a big three there by Longo, the captain.
McClellan have to say, Cato.
More than anything, he emphasized on that last possession. Be patient, get good shots, get good looks at the basket. Don't worry about them not falling, they're gonna start falling eventually. You shoot the initial fouls first with nobody in the lane spaces, then you administer the technicals. Now Wilton's gonna inbound right across from you.
Kicked out, Breslin in the corner for three,
yes! Breslin! Big three-pointer there for the Warriors here.
Game, Kevin, something we're not very used to.
And smart.
As Cronenberg from way downtown.
Welcome to the fourth quarter, young man.
He was in the quad for that one. To give Ridgefield the lead. Gets it.
There it is. Essen player.
So a little technical difficulty there, but a lot of fun at Alumni Hall. And one final time, I will let Kevin send us to break as he is just... Go ahead. You're back onto that side of the fence, I can see. Let it be repped.
There it is. I haven't done it in a while. I know the Richfield fans always come up to me and say, where's the boomerang? But here it is. Richfield Tigers bringing home that championship in boys basketball. What a game it was. Also got to give a shout out to Wilton. They put on a great performance here. We got to give them a little shout out because they were so great to us during that basketball season. But we're going to come right back. When we come back, we're going to look at the spring season. We got a lot of lacrosse. We even got baseball. We may have seen Richfield Wilton get back into it again right here on Nutmeg Sports.
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick oven pizza Napolitana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com, and like us on Facebook.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I can't believe it.
Well, Dad, you did it. You sold 160 cars. Ready to go back upstairs now?
I think it's time. I wonder how the boys are making out in their new office.
Not what I had in mind, Kyle. What, Dad?
Maybe we should retire. Right now, lease a 2017 Rogue S for only $139 a month. Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HA Network, our 2016-2017 year in review. Let's pick up where we left off. We've got highlights from this year's FCAC Baseball Championship. It was Ridgefield and Wilton again, both teams playing so well all year long. Billy Black and Colin Lowe on the mounds, both teams aces. Looking to win them a championship. It would be the Warriors who took home their second in 3 years, Kev. Let's look at the highlights and then we'll break it down.
We are back on the HAN Network with our coverage of the 2017 FCAC postseason, the baseball championship at the ballpark at Harbor Yard as the Wilton Warriors take to the field. As this one squirts by Donano, and coming home to score is Columbia.
I'm going to rule that a wild pitch there. It gets by Donano.
As Phillips on the move and Judelson fouls one off. No, they're going to say he missed it. It's a pass ball coming home to score.
Did we just see that a second ago on the Ridgefield side? This time over on Wilton's.
Heads up by Dooley. Now 1-2. The Tigers were in a similar situation in the semis, and it was Matt Collin with the big stab at Shore and the fire out at home. As another grounder to the left side, it's slow enough that it'll score the run.
Credit Cahal, he'll get the RBI. That's a big, big run for the Wilton Warriors.
Black set on the mound. From the stretch. Swung on and missed, strike three. For the second time in 3 years, the Warriors are the kings of FCAC baseball.
And it's all due to Billy Black. What a pitcher's performance we saw today. You see the pile on the mound, great tradition. And how about Drew Connolly? How excited is he? You see Billy Black showing his emotion there as he hugs his teammates. What a scene here at at Harbor Yard here for Wilton. And look at these fans.
A complete game 2 hitter. And he struck out 10 as Wilton has won the FCAC championship.
So congrats to Wilton's second championship in 3 years. Baseball was a lot of fun this year, Kevin. I mean, up until the day after the regular season ended, we had to extend it to figure out what the tournament field was going to be. Then you have Staples going on, winning the state championship after that. But the spring just almost feels overshadowed a little bit when you think about what Darien Boys Lacrosse did.
You're right. And I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like the spring season goes by way too fast, too. And you talk
especially when it's raining this much.
that is very true. We had some inclement weather all spring long, but yes, Darien kind of, yes, they're dominant, but they kind of overshadowed everyone else. And I think baseball was so competitive this year, and it was wide open. You had so many great teams, and you talk about, Trumbull, I thought was a team coming in that they were going to be one, and they struggled throughout the beginning part of the season. Then they really picked it up and found themselves in that FCAC semifinal, but that final itself was only fitting that it came down to Ridgefield and Wilton. And speaking to Drew Connolly after the game, Ridgefield had a runner at third base. They were 90 feet away from tying that game up, and Billy Black struck out Colin Lowe. But talking to Drew Connolly, he was out in center field, and Frank, he was saying to me, he was shaking his head. He was thinking, not again. Ridgefield's going to get us again. But Wilton was able to secure the win, and a big win for them because, again, their student section was so impressive at Harbor Yard, and that to me is what I look for most, and that was really cool, Frank.
It was a lot of fun, and Wilton deserved to win a championship after the year they had, and they've just been robbed a couple of times, so that was very fun. But we're running out of time here. I just want to quickly spend this will be the question I ask you. Was there a more impressive accomplishment or team this year than the Darien Boys Lacrosse team?
I don't think so. I think Darien Lacrosse, the boys' side and the girls' side too, you got to give them some recognition as well. I thought, they were just so dominant. And again, just so impressive to watch how good they really are from top to bottom. That roster on the boys' side is just so good. And again, we expect to see them right where they left off next year.
Well, to win a national championship for the first time in program history, there were few things this team had not done yet. to find one and actually get it done, I think, is the most impressive thing. But what a great year we had. And we pick right back up in a couple of weeks. Grip it and rip it from New Canaan High. The passing tournament is coming up on July 7th and 8th, Kev. But you want to offer congratulations to all the champions this year. A thank you to all the athletic directors, coaches, and athletes who came on the air with us, participated in the way they play the games, and then the best of luck to this senior class, all the graduates who will be heading off next year, whether they're pursuing their academic or athletic careers. We want to wish them all the best of luck.
And I think we have to give a special shout out to that Richfield High School senior class, because we've talked about it all season long. And I know.
Here we go.
But Frank, we talked about it.
It is the year of the Tiger. Go ahead.
It is the year of the Tiger. I thought the Richfield Tiger senior class needs a lot of recognition because, you know, these past couple of years, Richfield, the athletics have suffered a little bit, and they finally needed a year that they got picked up, and this senior class really got the work done, and they worked really hard these last 4 years. So best of luck to, you know, all the boys and girls going on to college next year, and they're really going to miss that senior class because next year I don't know if the Tigers are going to have that same kind of spark next year.
We're going to see whose year it will be soon enough. Before you believe it, we'll be right back on the road with the Fall Sports Tour flying around the FCIAC. For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. I'm Frank Granito. That's going to do it for this week of Nutmeg Sports. We are off until Monday at 2, but you can catch Coffee Break with Kate Chaplensky and Kevin Coleman filling in as the weatherman tomorrow at 11 o'clock only on the HAN Network.